There's a healthy form of jealousy that is allowed. What is jealous over is people. Parents are jealous over their children. Okay, jealousy does not always mean a negative thing. It just means protective or guarding what's yours. Everybody protects what's theirs. If you want to just say, I hate this person, I'm leaving you, that's more honest. Like, I can't stand you, that's why I'm leaving, I'm sorry. But say, oh, I will always love you, I love you, but sometimes love is not enough. I don't really get that. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I'm going to be debunking 10 relationship myths. Now, a myth is simply a widely held but false belief or idea. The problem about relationship myths is that because it is popularly held, people believe these things, and when they now get into a relationship or a marriage, they now start getting frustrated. They find themselves being unhappy because they're like, why is it that this thing I believe that I'm trying to implement, why is it that it's not happening? So I'm going to be talking about those things that I hear a lot of people say about relationships, and I'm going to be debunking them, okay? So let's just head straight into the video. The first relationship myth is never go to bed angry. If you're planning your wedding or you're already married, I'm sure you've probably heard this a lot of times from a lot of people. I get where this is coming from because there's a portion of scripture that says, don't let the sun go down on your anger. When I got newly married, in fact, even till now, we still try not to go to bed angry, just simply for the fact that, when two people love each other and you're upset at each other, you don't sleep well. You start having bad dreams, you're tossing and turning in bed, like you can't even sleep. You may sleep for 10 hours, but when you wake up, it's as if you did not even sleep, or you slept for an hour. But then it got to a point where I realized that, sometimes it's okay to go to bed with the issue unresolved. Not because you're trying to keep malice or anything, but it's just that sometimes you're tired. And then when you're tired and you're still forcing yourself to resolve a conflict, it might just make the whole situation worse. So sometimes a good night's rest actually does help, because by the next morning when you wake up, you have a clearer head. In fact, sometimes you may even just want to forget about the whole thing and just move ahead. Or especially when you have two people who have different styles of resolving conflict. One may want to, just rest on it a bit and just think over the whole thing, and then the other person will be like, no, we must settle this now. Then that can be a huge problem, okay? I think the proper approach instead should be work quickly to resolve conflict in a suitable time for both of you. So the second relationship myth is you're supposed to love your partner unconditionally, or love them for who they are, accept them for who they are. If you're in the dating phase, you're not even supposed to love unconditionally, because that's when you're supposed to shine your eye. Be honest with yourself, know what you can take from your partner and know what you cannot take from your partner, especially in the long run. That's if you guys are looking into marriage, and you should be looking into marriage. Now, taking this into marriage, I believe that yes, you should love your partner, be committed to them, but I feel like people who usually say this are those on the receiving end, those who are not willing to put in much effort into transforming their character or even transforming their appearance. Let me be real with you guys. Let's say a man who doesn't even take care of his appearance properly, and then maybe the partner is constantly complaining, I'd love you to do this and this, touch up a bit on this and this, and they're like, no, are you not supposed to love me for who I am? Love me unconditionally. You also have a role to play to help your partner be more attracted to you as the day goes by, and not reduce the attraction. Or let's say you have a character flaw, for example, and you say, that's how I am. Yes, how I am. Are you not supposed to love me for who I am? Are you not supposed to accept me for who I am? No. Love unconditionally should not be a cop-out for slacking or for relaxing, or for just being too comfortable in a relationship. Third relationship myth is that if you're with the right person, it's going to be easy. I've heard Pastor Kingsley Okonkwo give this example or give this analogy, so I'm going to be using it as well. So let's say you pray to God for admission into the university, and he gives you that admission, and then you get into school. Are you now going to say that, oh yeah, God has answered my prayer, I've gotten admission into the higher institution, so all I just need to do is kick back, relax, I don't need to go to classes, I don't need to read, I don't need to attend tutorials, and everything is just going to go smoothly because God gave me the admission? No, it doesn't work that way. In fact, that's when the real work begins. That's when you realize that, oops, I did not do further maths in high school or in secondary school, and in this uni, further maths is the basis for 100 level students. That's when you're going to have to start going for tutorials. You find out that there are certain courses you don't really like, there are certain courses you like, and you have to get extra help. That's the same thing when it comes to a relationship. Just because it's with the right person doesn't mean that everything is supposed to go smoothly. And I think that's where people get it wrong, because they rely so much on the butterflies, and just that feeling of highness, like you're in love, and at that period everything just seems to be effortless. But the thing is that sometimes as relationships progress, and probably as you begin to realize that, oops, this my partner is not as perfect, or even me, I'm not as perfect as I thought I was, you have to start putting in effort. And that's where the whole love is action thing comes in. That's when you then begin to realize that, wow, love isn't just about how I feel, but about what I do, irrespective of how I feel. However, what can happen is that by the time you are constantly putting in action faithfully, and acting in spite of your feelings, over time it will begin to feel natural. Sometimes you may not even have to think. It starts becoming second nature. It starts becoming a part of you. But even if it's God himself that molded the person for you, love takes work. The fourth relationship myth is, my partner should know how I'm feeling already. I don't need to say everything. I don't need to tell my partner everything. You should know me by now. Is your partner omniscient? Omni what now? Is your partner a telepath? And I feel like this is usually couples who have probably dated for a while or been married for a while that say this. You should know me by now. There's that expectation that communication, like you guys should, the other person should just know your need. The other person should just know what you want without you saying anything, And some people believe that if I have to tell my partner what I need or what I want, it's no longer romantic. That is not true. That is not true. For the rest of your life, you're going to keep evolving, you're going to keep changing, and you're going to keep needing to teach your partner how to love you better. Even if you've told them before, bring it up again as a subtle reminder. It's a different thing when the person is not willing to love you, or they don't even take any of your requests or your concerns into consideration, and they have never corrected on anything that you've spoken to them about. But if you see that this person has been trying, they may not be as perfect as you want them to be. Communication is a very important tool that never ceases to be relevant in your relationship. And the sooner you realize that, the better for you, and the more happier you'll be in your relationship. The relationship myth is that you'll be happier in a relationship or marriage, or that you'll always be happy in the right relationship. This is especially for those who are not yet married. There's this belief, there's this concept, and I feel like those of us who are in the Nigerian society or the African culture, the pressure that we get from the people around us is what has also contributed to selling us this false idea, because you are treated as if you're not yet a complete human being when you don't have a spouse, or when you don't have children, and so you find singles believing that, oh my god, the reason why I'm not as happy or as fulfilled right now in my life is because I'm not married. It's because I'm not tied down to anybody, so I need to get married. If I get married, all my problems. You may not even realize that you're thinking like that. It's subconscious. You're just like, oh, don't worry, I don't have to focus on dealing with friendships or forming same-sex friendships. I don't have to bother about discovering my purpose. All I just need to make me fulfilled and happy in life is a spouse. People have to realize that, yes, even when you marry the right person, even when you get married to someone who is absolutely amazing, loving, treats you right and everything, the rest of your problems in life are not just going to magically go poof. Okay? And I think sometimes people put themselves and their partners in a very tight spot when they get married, and then that's why they now expect their partner to constantly make them happy, even when they are facing problems in other areas of their life. And so when they realize that their partner is not doing everything to make them feel better, then they now start feeling like, oh, like, did I do something wrong? No. Your relationship, your love life is not your life. Your marriage is not your life. It's only part of your life. You have other aspects of life to deal with. The sixth relationship myth is that healthy couples rarely argue, and they usually agree on everything. Conflict is normal in any relationship, and so don't let yourself be deceived that, oh my god, we fought, we're not meant to be. Oh, is there a problem? Is there something wrong? Are we caused? No, conflict is normal, okay? Even the healthiest of couples don't agree on every single thing. If not, they will just be a clone of each other, and that relationship stops being healthy. Okay, there are certain things I have an opinion on that my partner does not agree, but over time you just find a way to make it work. You respect each other's opinion on certain topics. It's not the conflict that is the issue, but how you handle the conflict. That's what determines whether you are in a healthy relationship or not. Next relationship myth. Now, many people, if you reach this far, you will, I don't think you will agree with me on this, majority of you, but the next relationship myth is that love is not enough. Hey, my brother, my sister, please, love is enough. Love is enough, because when I hear this, I wonder, I'm like, what do you guys mean by love? If when you say love, you're talking about feelings, you know, like feeling, every single time, then that is not love, okay? Because the definition of love that I'm going by is the definition of love in 1 Corinthians 13 that says love is patient. The love, in fact, the love described there is not love. It's real life, like hard-working love. It says love is patient, love is kind, love does not rejoice in iniquity but rejoices in the truth. And we know how difficult that can be. Okay, so when people say love is not enough, I'm like, what do you mean? So this is how I'll put it. I'll say love is always enough as long as both parties are willing to work in that relationship. Now, I'm even talking of marriage, because when you're dating, let me put the clause, when you're dating, that emotional feeling of love is not enough. You have to use your head and choose very well. Use your head and pick very well, because yes, in that instant, that emotional or romantic love is not enough to sustain you guys in the long run. So you have to think smart ahead. When you're married, on the other hand, love is always enough as long as your partner is willing to work with you. They might not be perfect, you know, but as long as they are willing to work with you, and then as long as they are not willfully deciding to leave that relationship through divorce, or they are not breaking the marriage bed willfully multiple times by going to go and sleep with other people, then love is always enough. Or they are not threatening your life. Like, I don't know, maybe there's something I'm not getting, maybe there's a point I'm not understanding, because I feel like people use it as a cop-out, you know, as like cop-out of their marriage. I'm like, you know, sometimes love is not enough, and then I don't really feel comfortable when I see phrases like, oh, we love each other, we still love each other so deeply, you know, we will always love each other, but we just decided that what's best for us is to end this marriage. I'm like, except there's something you guys are not really telling us, okay? But to me, maybe I'm wrong, please let me know your thoughts, but to me, I'm like, please, if you want to just say, I hate this person, I'm leaving you, that's more honest. Like, I can't stand you, that's why I'm leaving, I'm sorry. That's more honest. But say, oh, I will always love you, I love you, but sometimes love is not enough. I don't really get that way of thinking. I'm so sorry, but let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Next relationship myth is that you should always want to be together all the time. That's not true. It's okay if you're in a relationship or you're in a marriage and you find that you don't always want to be around your partner. There's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with your relationship, there's nothing wrong with your marriage. It's normal. You're still an individual, okay? You are not twins, you're not joined at the hip with the other person. You're still an individual. You have your own interests. Hopefully you have your own lives, you have your own things, or your partner does. Let's say you're on the other end and you find that your partner wants to do certain things apart from you. There's nothing wrong as long as they still dedicate some time to spend with you. There's nothing wrong. It just shows that you guys are healthy individuals. Being together all the time is also not a sign of love and the perfect relationship. Healthy couples like to spend time apart from each other from time to time and do other stuff, you know, have a life basically. Engage with other people, engage with other communities, and then but they still end up coming back to each other at the end of the day. Next relationship myth is that neediness is bad. Neediness is a sign that you guys don't have your own independence. I honestly get annoyed when I hear this, because I feel like independence is so preached in today's relationship world and society that I feel like, are you sure this message is not causing more harm than good? To me, how I see it is interdependence, not saying, oh, be your own person, I feel like then what's the point of a relationship? What's the point of a marriage? It's two people coming together and working together and helping each other out. Yes, they are not God in each other's lives, and they are not the only relationships that should exist in each other's lives, but there should be that interdependence, okay? But not saying that, oh, just be your own person, do you know, have your own thing, do your own this, your own this, your own that. Because I think that's what makes people drift apart, you know, and then stop liking each other, stop being in love with each other. Because what's wrong if someone likes to spend time with their partner? What's wrong if someone shares certain interests with their partner? Like, what's wrong if your partner is your best friend? There's a healthy form of neediness, but it shouldn't be so much to the point where it's like, I can't exist without this person. That's when it's unhealthy. But there's a healthy level of neediness that is required to sustain a relationship. Means, I don't know why I'm saving all the contradictory ones for the end, but I hope you've reached this far. The next relationship myth is that jealousy isn't a sign of love. When I was doing my research for this video, I was just like, excuse me, what do you mean? Because the other side says the myth is that jealousy is a sign of love. You get me? I'm saying the myth is that jealousy isn't a sign of love. I mean, so I was like, okay, maybe there's something, you know, this English, maybe there's something I'm not understanding about this word. So I looked up, what's the meaning of jealousy? And yes, the first one says, you know, when you're jealous that your partner will get the affection of someone else of the opposite sex. But the next one says guarding or protecting. And what's wrong with that? Even the Bible says that God is jealous over his people. So what's wrong with that? I feel like preaching this message of, oh, if your partner ever shows any sign of jealousy, it means they're the wrong ones for you, blah 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 blah. I feel preaching that is what's making many relationships and many marriages fall into infidelity today. Because your partner is designed naturally to be an accountability partner for you. You know, they are also there. Yes, they shouldn't take it overboard, but they are also there to like be able to point out, because sometimes your partner may be oblivious to something that they're doing that is putting your relationship in jeopardy. So you are there to, or they are there to serve as, oh, a guide for you, you know, a protection for you, and be like, oh, stay clear of that guy, or stay clear of that woman, or like, this is what they are doing, and you could land yourself into trouble. In fact, on the other end, if you're with somebody and that person never, because I have experienced that person never cares, even if you tell them like, oh, I just spent the night at the opposite sex's house, and they never show any concern, you know, in fact they don't care, they are just so casual about it, and you're like, oh, I spent the night at some so person's house, and they're just like, oh, nice, how did it go wrong? That is a sign that they don't really care about you, or that they too, they are involved in other affairs that you are not aware of. So that is even a very big red flag. There is a healthy form of jealousy that is allowed. God is jealous over his people. Parents are jealous over their children. Okay, jealousy does not always mean a negative thing. It just means protective or guarding what's yours. Everybody protects what's theirs. So I don't get it, please, but thank you. And then this is just a bonus relationship myth. I know I said there are 10, but take this as the bonus. The last relationship myth is that if you love me, you will change for me. I'm sorry I'm speaking dramatically, but I saw this somewhere recently and I just remember being so upset. I was just like, this lady, are you trying to be controlling or what? It's okay if you see a flaw in someone. You make that decision how you want to handle it, if you can live with it or if you cannot live with it. But you don't use it, don't lord it over someone and say, if you love me, you will change. Because I think that's also why many people get married to certain kinds of people, and then they're like, oh, they love me so much, so they're going to change later. No, it's not true. Okay, yes, love can change people in a way, but not in a controlling way. You don't use it to control them and demand it out of them. So that's why at the early stage, if you know you cannot deal, please don't progress in that relationship. Don't progress, because if not, after every little argument, when things don't go your way, you'll be like, oh, I thought you loved me, why you not changing? And you'll be so unhappy. That's the truth. You'll be so unhappy. Please don't marry someone or don't date someone to change them. You are dating them to love them. When it's genuine love has a way of naturally transforming people's life. Controlling love, on the other hand, doesn't. It just frustrates both of you in the relationship and makes you grossly unhappy. So don't date or marry someone because you have an agenda to to change them. So guys, that's all I have for you today. These are the 10 or 11 relationship myths. Let me know your thoughts. Which do you agree with, which don't you agree with? I look forward to hearing back from you in the comment section. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Yes, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, share with those who you feel will benefit or like this type of content, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful week. Bye.